Learn cybersecurity and focus technical training with justhacking.com, where all-star instructors and industry experts provide hands-on, affordable, and practical learning. Across courses, free upskill challenges, hack-along training videos, and capture the flag competitions, there's always something to hack. With new content twice a month, all throughout the year, plus bi-monthly live streams, you can sharpen your skills in our on-demand and interactive lab environments. Advance your career and level up, regardless of your experience or budget. Forget all the noise and get to Just Hacking. Sign up now at justhacking.com. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the stream. Super good to see you all. Hey, thank you so much for coming to hang out. Giving it just a moment, trying to see, are we live? Are we live? Are we live? I think we're live. Excellent. All looking good. Hey, super appreciate you all being here. Look, I know it's been a hot minute since we've been able to do a little live stream, a little Just Hacking training live stream. And let me please say, this is a Just Hacking training live stream, which means that I get to talk shop. Hey, I get to tell you all about some of the cool, awesome, sweet stuff that we have been up to. And I'm super excited about it all. I think there's some really cool stuff to celebrate. But let me tell you a secret. And it's not so much a secret, really, now that I'm telling you all. But it's just me today. You're stuck with just me. I'm sorry. I don't know. I don't have anyone to pull out of the hat to bring it on as another guest of the show. Because look, if you aren't familiar, we do these live streams. What is it? Every other week, just about? Time is a blur to me, but I think it is. Hey, every 2 weeks when we can get together with some of our all-star instructors, some of the sweet, incredible folks that have been helping us build out training, material, education, content, all things for you to learn. Sharpen your skills, enhance, elevate your career, all the sweet things. And it's been incredible to see this thing grow because, look, I've been doing YouTube, for folks that aren't tracking, for like 15 years now. That's kind of wild. Like over a decade of it kind of just being me. And it's just so incredible to, I don't know, start to build up a team, start to build up the community that can do more and can, hey, get more out the door. So it's not just me. But look, let me get out of the way with all the administrivia, all the logistics, all the stuff that we just kind of have to tend to say. Yes, this is being recorded. If you can't make it to the live stream or if you're going to dash at any point, we're going to be doing some demos. We're going to be walking through some of the exercises, some of the material. I'm going to get through some of the announcements first, but without a doubt, this will be recorded. Let me look through, double check just to see how things are at. All the notes that I have for me to remember what to tell you all. Because honestly, I've got a lot to tell you. I know the fact, hey, we have been out for a month, just about, maybe 2 at this point. Time is a vortex. I'm going to keep saying that. I've been bouncing around, had a whole lot of travel. Of course, we had DEF CON, Black Hat, Hacker Summer Camp, all the Las Vegas festivities. So we'll chat a little bit about that. And then we'll get into some of the sweet new announcements that what we're up to. And then we'll go hands-on keyboard. Hey, finally get to do some fun activities. And I don't know, if we got some time, we'll keep hanging out. We can do some AMA or Q&A or whatever you want. I would love to chat with you all. I hope we have some fun. But with that, let me review. Let me see what else we got going on. Anything else that I wanted to get out of the way for our intro? I know it is just me solo, but I think we're okay. Yeah. We still do these live streams just about twice a week on Fridays, normally with our all-star guests, but today it's just me. I don't know if I'm a little bit selfish taking the mic all on my own, but let's do it. What I would like to do to get things started is screen share. Because, I like to have the visuals. I love to showcase. That's the word I keep saying. That's one of my favorite words. But I do want to make sure we can show, not just tell. And let me go ahead and pull this up. Because, look, it's no secret. We're talking about Just Hacking training. And there are so many cool things that I have to tell you about for the announcement. So forgive me if I ramble, but I'm genuinely just excited about all the awesome stuff we've got going on. If folks aren't familiar, you can dive in. It is justhacking.com. That's the website that I'm on right now. And there are a whole ton of announcements that we'll dive into. But again, I do want to remind folks, if you go take a look at the vitals section of the navigation, you can see the events page. Now, this one, I'm sorry, a little bit of a flashbang. I know everyone's going to whine and complain. Uh-oh, where's your dark mode, John? How can you see? This is blinding me. And I'm right there with you. We're going to get to hopefully another spot soon where we will have dark mode on, and then we'll be able to see things a-okay without you all bleeding from your eyes. Anyway, check out our bi-monthly live streams. You're here, you're doing it, you're already part of the party, and those are everywhere. If you're tuning in on LinkedIn, thank you so much. If you're tuning in on X, appreciate you. If you're over on Twitch, sweet, or YouTube, home base, our HQ, the main stage for us, I'm glad you're here. Seriously, thank you for everything that you do and all your support. With that, we got a ton of stuff going on between all of the past interactions that we've had with our other all-star guests and instructors and courseware developers. What we're diving into now is just kind of me. I know it's weird, but it's just going to be me. We'll walk through some of the sweet upskill challenge UCX stuff for some IoT or Internet of Things hacking. A little bit of learning on that front, which I'm super excited about. But let's dig into the conferences. Where will we be at IRL in the real world? To be honest, October is going to be insane. We have a whole lot of stuff. I'll be at B-Sides Cayman Islands in September. Blue Team Con, I know, is coming up super quick. I unfortunately will not be at Blue Team Con in person. But if you are attending, if you're in that area, please, please, please do go say hi. We'll have some friend folks over with the IoT or Internet of Things Village. But B-Sides Cayman Islands, I will be there. I'll be at B-Sides New York City. B-Sides Chicago, we have a sweet, fun conversation to have with that. And I think there's even more. There are a couple more things we'll have to add to this list because it's going to be a busy month in Cybersecurity Awareness Month, the month of October. All the while, we'll be hosting the Huntress Capture the Flag, and there's more and more and more things to do. But I hope to see you in the real world, IRL. Please do come hang out, say hi, shake hands, get a picture, get a selfie, all the sweet, fun stuff. But with that, let me talk a little bit about DEF CON. Did I miss anything there? I didn't think I missed anything on the looking back at this here. Thank you for collecting Q&A. I appreciate you backstage production, the voice in the back of my head. Cool, cool, cool. Yeah, let's chat about DEF CON, because DEF CON was something else this year, let me tell you. I'll try to get some visuals pulled up. Let me actually screen share if that's okay. I'm going to pivot and stop the screen share so you'll see my ugly face for a quick moment. Then let me pull up another window if I can get that thing cruising. Okay, I do. Looking good? Sure. Cool. So I'm over here on the Twitter account for Just Hacking Training because we were trying to help showcase a lot of the stuff that we were up to while we were there. And it was so cool to be at DEF CON and to have a space, to have a place that was ours. And it was loaded with stickers and signs and computers and laptops and workshops and hands-on exercises for people to be able to play along and engage. And that just felt, as me, as John, as a person, just surreal. It was just so cool to see the growth, to see the momentum. So thank you. At the end of the day, that's all I can really say. Because we showed in force at DEF CON. We were sponsoring IoT Village, of course, as well as Red Team Village, as well as Noob Community. I think they ended up changing between Josh Mason's stuff. Yeah, Noob Community or Noob Village, or whatever shape or form that took. And then Scambait Village. But we tried to have a little bit of fun. I don't know if it was a secret that we were getting excited about while we were just before we all jumped out of Vegas, but we were thinking, oh, let's do a sweet little on stage event. Hey, let's get some people hyped up with a special guest. And we thought, man, it would be cool to get together with my friend, get together with Chuck. So the plan was on Friday, at the very start of DEF CON, we were going to be having this kickoff for DEF CON with Network Chuck and I over in the IoT Village. And I mentioned this because if you guys saw it and if it was fun, I hope you had fun. But there's a wild thing, and let me banter full screen for a quick second. Can I move the screen off my face? I think so. Let me tell you all about this. Because Chuck and I have met together in person before, right? We've hung out. We got to go to the sweet Mr. Beast headquarters some time ago. We got to get some content recorded here and there. Just an incredible friend, right? And we thought, dude, let's make this big splash. This was Chuck's first time at DEF CON. This was his first time at Black Hat. So he was like, jumping into the lion's den, absolute chaos and insanity that DEF CON is. And I tried to warn him. I tried to let him know, hey, this is how this all kind of happens. Good, bad, and ugly. And when we were scheming up to get together for Friday at our 11 o'clock show, 11:30, we'd get up on stage over at the IoT Village. Chuck and I are hanging out. We're in the area. We got the rest of the crew and all our friends. And we started to realize we got our stage. Stage is set up. We got our microphones, but we don't have speakers. And that's, just how things go. That's just how things tend to happen here and there. I say this with absolute love. This is from a pure, genuine, warm-hearted place. I say this in endearment, but I tend to call this a little bit of just the usual DEF CON disaster because it's always tough to get stuff there in the area, in all the spaces, because it's huge. It's a ginormous event, ginormous conference, tons of people running all over the place. So speakers for our stage and microphone setup just fell through the cracks. And this is the very beginning of DEF CON, mind you. So like Chuck and I, we knew we were going to be in for a week of chatting with folks, hanging out, being there, being part of the community. But even if we had a microphone, even if we didn't, I think a couple villages were like using a megaphone. Shout out, respect. But we would not be able to shout and project like we can. That I probably, people whine because I yell in my videos or I'm projecting when the microphone's in front of me. And Chuck can do the very same. But it's the absolute beginning of DEF CON. And we didn't want to lose our voice at the start, at day zero. You know what I mean? So we did not, unfortunately, have kind of the kickoff DEF CON on stage live fun thing that we wanted to do. But it was really, really fun. It was hysterical. I want to pull up chat, see what folks are saying. Can I increase the volume? No, not quite yet. We were in the area. We were in IoT Village. Oh, how's it going, Scammer Payback? It's great to see you, my friend. We were, Chuck and I, standing in the area and kind of, now we understand this is a little bit of a problem because the floodgates have been opened and people are walking in. And Chuck and I are just kind of hanging out there. So this unintentionally, I guess, happens to happen. A lot of folks want to come say hello. So some way, somehow, a line starts to form for an impromptu, spontaneous meet and greet for Chuck, and the line like forks and splits to hang out and chat with me. And this is all leading up to the time like 11:30. Hey, are our speakers going to get here? Are we going to be able to do the show, this thing that we planned? And for one thing, we're trapped in now the setup to chat, shake hands, hang out with folks, which was surreal, lovely, and beautiful. But then in the moment, we acknowledge, I don't think we're going to be able to make this thing happen. So Chuck and I are beside each other and just kind of ask the question, hey, do you want to just like keep doing this? Do you want to do like this weird, silly meet and greet kind of thing for an hour and a half? So that's what it was. We just sat there, stood there, chatted with folks, communicated, and talked for an hour and a half. Which was very sweet, which was very cool, but it was all the in-person, hey, conversational, face-to-face stuff rather than a big on-stage thing. still a lot of fun, still an absolute blast, still super cool to be there, still great to hang out with Chuck and his first ever DEF CON, his first ever Black Hat and Hacker Summer Camp. So had a blast with that. I am seeing some folks kind of relaying the bandwidth is rough. And I'm super sorry to hear that. That pains me. I will keep cruising for the moment. What I'm going to try and do is maybe pull off another folk. Fingers crossed. And now let's see if we can get any better. Okay. Please do keep me in the loop if stream is falling apart, though. Let me keep cruising. Katie, bless her heart. She's phenomenal. She is the best. She had left a whole ton of stickers at our spot. You'd be able to catch her, of course, throughout DEF CON and the Hacker Summer Camp. Katie is hanging out with us and has been building a couple of the upskill challenges, the free and available, different exercises and activities you can dive into at JHD. And she is in the works of a super cool API hacking course and some training and education there. So I'm very excited, and it was great to see her again. And I love that she left a bunch of her stickers at our table. With that, I mentioned we were over at Red Team Village. We were helping sponsor, for one thing, their competition, their CTF, and it was good to catch up with some friends there, Savannah, Barry, etc., and the whole crew. But it's just neat to see the logo with everyone doing what they're doing and helping celebrate and be a part of DEF CON. But if you didn't see it, hey, this was the spot. Where we were was in the middle of the contest area beside the IoT Village, and we had these really cool like blue tablecloths. So it helped kind of stand out, be in the middle of the space here. We had the big signs up, which was sweet, just a feel good moment. And we were letting folks get hands on keyboard. The problem was, if you've been to DEF CON, internet is kind of rough. Especially, and they have other ups and downs, and they acknowledge this, of course, in like their transparency report, the closing ceremonies. They'll talk about, hey, how the networking and the NOC operations were. But it almost made a lot of the activities and exercises borderline. Unusable is not the right word, but it's kind of close to it, right? But at the very least, we did have a lot of fun getting folks together. And if you didn't catch it, there is a sweet little 20% off discount code called DEFCON20. So if there is anything at all that you wanted to dive into on the Just Hacking training end, wow, they got a picture of my Celsius, the energy drink that I was trying to pound in the morning just to be able to to function. But really cool. We had the projector that was facing there, so we were able to bring some stuff up on the screen. Had a little safe haven in the center for all of us as staff and crew, but folks were able to dive on the keyboard. And we will do the exercises today. We'll do that for what we're working on. Oh, API hacking, back to the conversation of Katie. I got another voice in the back of my head, backstage production, telling me that might be looking like October for the API hacking course. So fingers crossed on that. I know Katie caught the conference crud, as many of us do. Con crud really got the best of a lot of us. Somehow I was saved. Somehow I did not get sick, but I know a whole lot of other friends and team members did, which is unfortunate. But we're all back in action. DEF CON is in the rear view mirror. But we had the projector kind of pointed at the area we were mostly sitting in the center. And that was the most nauseating, headache-inducing, bright, shiny light through the entire time. But we did it for you. We do it for you. All right. Lily, cool team member. Of course, you might have seen her in some of the stuff that we've been up to and the upskill challenges that she's been able to put out. Had a sweet, awesome interview with IoT Village and the book that they've been putting together. So cool to see those out and about. And again, just wanted to give some love to IoT Village because they are absolutely friends. They had a birthday party when they were getting together, and I got to jump in. One of their team members is a DJ. So there are maybe a couple fun pictures and videos. I got to find them and show them to you when I at least stood beside him. I don't know how to DJ. I cannot DJ, but I at least got to like live vicariously through him and like bump around on the turntable and act and pretend like I'm cool, but I know I'm not. But at least there are pictures and social proof that I got to pretend that I was cool. So much more to talk about between what was the Feet Feud event that Tiberius had hosted. That was hysterical, with ending with Allie or Allie Diamond. Tiberius had his John Hammond lookalike contest, which was something else. But we had a good time. It was so fun. It was just funny. So thank you for helping make that happen. I got a couple more pictures that I could show you, but let me, now that I've already burned 20 minutes just talking, let me keep talking. Now that I don't have a guest, I feel like I'm taking all this time just to hang out. Let me stop screen share for a quick moment so you go back to me real quick, and let me pivot to another screen for us. I got to unlock that virtual machine because we're going to be working out of a virtual machine today. What else do we got going on? Yeah, so I covered DEF CON 20 coupon code is live through the end of the month. So if you are tuning in and if there's anything that you think sounds fun, let me tell you, you got only a couple days left. And with that, we'll pull up the screen share one more time. Back to JHT, justhacking.com. One of the new courses that we've got out and about, because it is about that time. We got new material, new training coming out each and every month. Something that we're stoked about as we are ramping up our defensive portfolio, a whole lot of the blue team efforts. Wow, we've got so much stuff now. I'm looking at a couple of these, all the things that are out and about. And let me tell you, we are over 65 different offerings. Of course, OPSEC, operational security, OSINT, open source intelligence, a little bit of malware development, a little bit of dark web, a little bit of cryptography, a little bit of Active Directory hacking. So much stuff. But I want to hone back in on the blue team work, because you've probably heard me beat the drum a whole lot about constructing defense. And constructing defense, incredible individual, Anton. He's been on the show here with us before. He's a friend of mine and coworker over at the day job, but he has this phenomenal, ginormous cyber lab and range that gets you each and everything in Windows, in Linux, in AWS, and GCP, and it's Splunk logs in a C environment. So much to it, but I know that that is quite a cliff. So while we are expanding the blue team portfolio, as we were making things a little bit more available, while I mentioned ConDef is available if you wanted to make your own lab environment, you can do that very easily with ConDef Constructing Defense Lite, a little bit of an easier barrier to entry. But let me say, the virtual environment in cyber range is so ginormous that it's a little bit overwhelming. We had some folks come to us and say, look, I got this light version so that they could build out the labs. And they're like, I can't do it. I want the rest. I want the full cyber range, and that's what the full and first Constructing Defense offers. But let me tell you about Incident Response 101, because again, we're super stoked to be getting a little bit more blue team, a little bit more defense, a little bit more SOC analyst, a little bit more malware, a little bit more forensics, a little bit more incident response. So IR 101 is out right now. And as usual, when we do launch something new, it's got the 20% off code. You can use IR Launch 20 if that is something that you're interested in. But that has another great big lab. And this could be a sweet foray, maybe, to constructing defense, because there is a little bit more of a focus here. This is sharpened and zoomed into incident response. Constructing defense is much more wide. But this should be a good one. This should be a great one. And I'm excited that it's out and about. If you wanted something a little bit more fine-tuned and specific to like a junior SOC analyst or security operations center role, let me tell you, we're expanding that blue team arsenal. SOC Analyst 101 is coming out soon. That is on its way. But I have been allowed to say, they gave me permission, that will be released next week, from what I understand. Pretty cool. SOC 101 is going to get into a lot more of the log sources, threat intel, case management, putting together the Security Operations Center team. And of course, it all comes with the virtual environment, the labs, the machines and exercises that you can actually get into. And this one should be really, really, really accessible. This one is name your price. I think the floor on that is 25, but suggested price is 50. So we appreciate your support, and I hope that's a heck of a lot more approachable than some of our others. Okay, I'm done with the courses and the content and all those things. Now let me tell you about one more thing we're excited about, and then hopefully I can speed run through this before the half-hour mark, and we can finally get on the keyboard, and it's not just me rambling. But something that we're so excited about is live in-person instructor-led training. That's been a goal of ours. We considered that kind of a milestone. That was something that we just knew, we want to be able to do this, to be able to make this thing bigger and to grow and to be face-to-face and to communicate and be part of the community. So I am ecstatic that kind of our first pilot for that is with a B-Sides, with a local security conference, and at B-Sides Chicago. So we have 4 of our folks, myself included, as the instructors, as the leaders for an in-person training. And you can go track those down if you are in the area and you do want to be there present at B-Sides Chicago. These will be leading as like the provider of B-Sides Chicago's workshops. And if you go take a look, I appreciate some folks dropping the links in chat. Thank you so much. We'd love to hang out. We'd love to see you there. B-Sides Chicago 2025 workshops. Right now, they have early bird registration. So a little bit of an easier access entry if you wanted to dive in. It's a full day of the training. And if you want to hang out with me, I'll be teaching some of the script-based malware analysis stuff. So the same sort of things that I cut up in a whole lot of videos, whether it is, .js JScript, .vbs Visual Basic Script, .hta, whether it is Python here and there, where it's a little bit of PowerShell, maybe some Batch, maybe some just regular LNK launchers, Windows Shortcut. There's a whole lot we could dive into. I'm stoked for that. But if you wanted some more of the OSINT work, Mishal Khan will be there in person, and you've seen his wizardry before in a lot of our other streams. Trevor is joining the party with us, which I'm so excited about. He's a longtime friend. He is putting together some hardware hacking 101, and I think, please do not quote me on this, I think he's handing out a kit, like a full hardware kit. So that should be really cool. Get hands-on, do some of that hardware hacking. And Ellie, the angel, Ellie's the best. She has a sweet session on vibe coding for responsible adults, because everybody's talking about AI, artificial intelligence, vibe coding, vibe hacking, vibe whatever. But she's trying to help take that a little bit more seriously for vibe coding for responsible adults. So cool. A little bit of all across the spectrum, some malware, some OSINT, some hardware hacking, and a little bit of AI and vibe coding. But seriously, genuinely, I'm just happy that this is an awesome opportunity for us to be able to do that live in-person instructor-led training that we set as a goal for ourselves. Like this was a milestone that we wanted, and really big shout out, big thank you to B-Sides Chicago for letting us do that. I will be their closing keynote. I think they're calling it a lock note, which I love. That the proper term for the closing keynote is a lock note. And I'll be helping wrap up that show. But it's so cool to be able to dive into B-Sides Chicago workshops. October 31st, Halloween. Oh, we all got to wear costumes. We all got to wear Halloween costumes for the workshops. That would be so much fun. What would we all dress up as? Like what could I do as a malware, as a uniform and costume? Okay, yes, I do have confirmation. Trevor Tivo, his hardware hacking session does come with a take-home hardware kit. So that's pretty cool. That's awesome. All right, enough me rambling. 30 minutes. I'm just about there. We are now finally at the transition point, and I can do a demo. But let me set the stage. Let me cover this thing the best that I can. because with all the different offerings that Just Hacking Training's been putting out and about, we know, hey, we still want to make this accessible and easy and allow folks in without any other gates or whatever thing that gets in the way. So the upskill challenges are the free avenues to be able to dive into an exercise. However, traditionally, upskill challenges, when they've just been small, simple, like bite-sized training lessons, maybe only 10 to 30 minutes of you getting on keyboard and hanging out, while they are free, that meant there would be no virtual machines. And you got to understand that is because that is a cost. Like cloud hosting providers, cloud virtual machines need coin to be able to run. So we've been trying to figure out, where do we fit. We knew in the lineup, we knew in our material, something was just kind of missing. How do we get the sweet spot for accessible material that is 10 to 30 minutes of student time, or maybe a little bit longer, maybe an hour, maybe whatever, to be able to get hands-on keyboard and work inside of a virtual machine? So what we have built out for what was workshops or live and in-person events, like while we sponsored and worked with IoT Village or Internet of Things, we were able to build out what we call a UCX, or an extended upskill challenge. So now you'll have a virtual machine and you'll be able to actually get on keyboard and hang out and do something and have some hands-on work. So we're stoked about getting that out the door as, hey, this new kind of name brand idea. And the way that we can make this realistic, financially healthy without burning cost of virtual machines, right, is making it name your price, making it pay what you can, pay what you want. So there is a suggested price where you could say, hey, you know what? I really like the stuff that John's been doing. I really, really like the idea of Just Hacking Training. It's cool to get the community together, build up some of the industry titans and all-star instructors. So if you'd like to help support, that'd be incredible. I love you. You're the best. But I know dollar signs make people take out their pitchforks. So this is name your price, and the minimum price is $0. So the labs that you might have seen up in some of the pictures for the upskill challenges or the hands-on activities at DEF CON and for the other events that we've been able to bring these to, we have put out those as upskill challenge extended, where you've got the virtual machines and you're able to build all these and play with them. Big shout out IoT Village. Big shout out to Matt. Again, he was another previous guest on the live stream to be able to show us what he's been up to. But now we will do it. We will dive in and do some of these exercises and activities. And let me show you that process, if that's okay. Let me start with MQTT, and then I'm going to kind of let my hair down, right? This is when I get on keyboard and I'm going to have to focus a smidge. I'm going to have to not be doing the song and dance to get through the announcements, unless I'm forgetting anything. But I do have dark mode kind of set up and situated here for us. Gentle reminder with the banner of the DEF CON discount, if anyone would like to dive in, that does exclude bundles like the Mishal bundle for OSINT and OPSEC, and the MADS, or the managing and securing or mastering Active Directory security. And I think the Windows malware development one just as well. A couple of the other bundles, those are already really heavily discounted, so it's not attached to that. But DEF CON 20 can let you grab anything else that you'd like for the rest of the weekend. Let's get into MQTT, the Extended Upskill Challenge. And let me show you this. The pay what you can, pay what you want. I know it's suggested just $5 as the suggested price. Again, you can bring that to whatever you want. But $0, totally free, easy peasy. Let me click and roll and dive into this. All right. So learn to talk to IoT devices or Internet of Things devices. This workshop is designed to provide an introduction to MQTT, a network protocol used to facilitate communication. It is lightweight protocol designed to work in low bandwidth networks or on resource constrained devices. This makes it ideal for IoT or Internet of Things communications, since these constraints are very common for these devices. And this has a whole lab for you. The quick hands-on lab uses Home Assistant for managing two Internet of Things devices using MQTT. Notice the MQTT Workshop VMs or virtual machines below. We've got Kali Linux that's provided for interacting with the virtual smart home, and the smart home itself, which has Home Assistant set up with an MQTT broker for communications. Now, super important, we will need to go ahead and launch the group of virtual machines so that we could actually interact with them, because now we know that we do need to work with the smart home or that Internet of Things device. You know that, of course, Just Hacking Training lets you dive into a browser-based lab. And for the nerds and geeks among us, that's Apache Guacamole. So you can really easily dive in to, hey, something just in the browser, be able to click around, work in Kali Linux. But let me say, with like total honesty, I'm not a I'm not the biggest fan of browser-based labs just because they're a little bit slow. Sometimes they feel clunky. I can't Alt Tab, I can't Control Z, Control V, Control like copy paste easily enough because you're wrestling with Apache Guacamole. So I, for one, really like using a VPN, just like you're used to in a whole lot of other training providers. And I remembered I was like fighting tooth and nail to get us a VPN configuration, and now that we have one, we should be able to just connect this whole environment and interact with things. So I'm copying the IP address here for the smart home. And I've been inside of my Kali Linux virtual machine this entire time. Let me try to work with this. Let me make a directory. And you know what? Let me clear my bash history or ZSH history because I don't want to have any spoilers. While I have tried to prep this a little bit just so I'm not going in super duper blind as I remind myself of how to use Linux in the terminal. But let me make a directory for Just Hacking Training. Let's get in there. I spelled everything right. And let's make a directory for MQTT. And with that, I can move what I've just downloaded as the UCX MQTT talk to you open VPN file, and I'll bring that into this directory. So now I have that here, and I can connect to that network super easily with the UCX VPN configuration file. Obviously, running command with sudo means that we'll need my password for the user account. I'm just running Kali Linux, and let's see if my internet will behave. Looks like I am connected, and we'll see if we can get this working well. I like to use Terminator on the Linux command line just so I can split the window super quick. I know you can do this with Tmux. I know you can do it with Screen, but I have just always been a sucker for a little bit of GUI niceties, quality of life, convenience things. So now that we're connected, I do want to sanity check. Can I ping our Kali machine? I can copy paste that IP address. Okay, I do have comms. We can reach that host. Let me do the very same for our smart home. I do just want to ping that to make sure I can reach it. Also got connectivity there. So OpenVPN, VPN connectivity is working smooth as butter. Let's go ahead and complete and continue. There's a button that my face is in the way, but I'm clicking it and moving on. What is MQTT? So according to mqtt.org, and let me go open up that in another tab if I can see this thing load. While I'm streaming, this is still giving me a little bit of shenanigans, but I think we can get it to come through. And if not, we can go load the other page just as well. Am I back? Am I back? I'm back in Restream. Heck yeah. Dude, you'd think we'd have gotten this right after all this time. I think Restream is kind of out to get me. Not gonna lie. I do see it starting to fall off more often than not every time we use it, which is a real bummer. So sorry for that. I guess that's a kind of clear indicator, especially when I'm running solo, that hey, we cannot use Restream. At least I don't know if it's the browser or whatever happens or what goes wrong. So we'll go straight to OBS for the future. Um, but chat, where did we leave off? When did you lose me? The thing is, that monitor is what I'm looking at, and that monitor is where Restream is. So I could have kept going. I could have been gone for an hour. I wouldn't have known. Holy cow, you lost me at pinging Cali? We're all the way in the MQTT shenanigans. Quality's still rough. All right, we will 1,000% absolutely patch this up for next stream, because that is really, really frustrating, and a bummer. So thanks for hanging out with us. Hopefully it comes together. And if not, we kind of cut things short. We'll cruise through MQTT, and that'll probably get us to the top of the hour. But we don't need to do any more if we're just fading away. Stream is real bad. Okay. Resolution solo. All right. Let's let's get this through and then make those changes as we need to. Can I screen share A-OK? All right. Yep. All right. So I've got MQTT up, and the UCX Upskill Challenge extended. We've been learning a little bit about MQTT, the protocol that's oftentimes used in Internet of Things devices. And then I want to get us into the actual communications here. Some sweet info on Facebook Messenger was actually using this way back in 2011. I think they were the first to use it. Oh, no, sorry. First release in 2011 uses this for networking communications. So that's kind of neat. Let me speed run through this the best I can, just so we don't have to sit through the agony of Restream, apparently. MQTT works very differently than other common network protocols like HTTP. MQTT uses a publish or subscribe or pub sub architecture for communication. I'm going to have to keep looking back at that monitor. Okay. Clients will connect to a centralized server known as the MQTT broker and subscribe or publish to message channels called topics. This is similar to how a chat messaging app like Slack or Discord works. Users in chat messaging apps will connect to a server or workspace that acts as the broker for messages. It just shares these out. Joining or subscribing to a channel allows reading the incoming messages, and then publishing to a channel will send messages. So there's a tiny little diagram here, and this is going to end up being slightly hard to read because of the dark reader. But okay, screen share is crystal clear. Excellent. That's good to hear. My face, my camera is the thing that looks like a blob. Is the audio at least coming through? Because people, look, if I've learned anything about YouTube, and I've not learned a lot at all, but I think people will watch a potato video with the video quality being, recorded underwater. But audio is extremely important. People will not listen to like if it were recorded inside of a microwave. You know what I mean? Anyway, the temperature sensor above, when we're looking at this diagram, is publishing to the topic temperature and the message 55F or Fahrenheit. Since a computer on the top right has subscribed to the topic of temperature, it'll receive a message from the temperature sensor. But the car diagnostic sensor down at the bottom, you might be able to see, and unfortunately, I think dark reader, let me toggle that off, Are you all ready for the flashbang? This is going to go off of Dark Reader and going to go bright screen. Are you ready? I do want to make sure you all are comfortable and okay with opening your eyes to the light. I'll count us in 3, 2, 1. Flashbang. But look at all these words we can read now. Look at that clear contrast. So what we're diving into for this is how it's discussing the car diagnostic sensor and the topic that's noted here. Because if I zoom in on this, the topic car /oil has like the / as a delimiter, something that separates one, kind of message article or specific topic that divides some of the information that could come through. So that's what we really want to dive into. You can see that the topic car /oil, the / in the name is used to group messages under different categories. This can be used to help organize messages being published, like car /gas or car /tires, etc. And that way you can be specific as to what messages do you really even care about. The / in MQTT acts as a special divider. There are, however, some wildcard topics. So you can use a hashtag or octothorpe as the proper scientific term, the pound symbol, and a +sign for signifying wildcard topics. The hashtag character acts like a fuzzy match, while the +sign character will only match on a single topic level. And that level is meant by the /. So this is defined a little bit more here. You can see that hashtag will denote everything under system because it followed that as like a suffix, but that includes everything even in other nested groups like info /config or power /stats. The + wildcard is only within like one topic. So you can see /temperature and /status make it through, but everything that was in the nested, quote unquote, or info /config, power /stats would not be globbed, if you think of it like a glob in that wildcard reference, for a + wildcard. Does that make sense? Yeah. So you could use wildcards to subscribe to multiple topics, and you could use that to kind of filter in or filter down to whatever you need. So let's keep cruising. I'm clicking the complete and continue. I'm going to cross my fingers. Internet's keeping up with me. This feels like DEF CON all over again, right? There's a note here. The Wi-Fi might be a little bit bogged down, so give it a full minute for the Kali desktop to appear. Look, I'm going to be using the VPN, so we won't need to work within Guacamole, an Apache web browser-based lab. But the DEF CON Wi-Fi was slow, so we had to give folks a lot of time to be able to explore things. Anyway, we have our smart home, and it is serving an interface on port 8123. So we could go to that page. Let me actually clear out all the other tabs, and I wonder if those have been eating up the bandwidth, bytes and packets and all. But did I just close the MQTT that I wanted? I'm pretty sure I did. I just accidentally visited that on port 80 by default, but I want to go to 8123. Let me see if that loads. It went to HTTPS. I want HTTP. Can we get to that? There we go. Home Assistant. DEF CON PTSD. Thank you, K. Scott. All right, welcome home. So we were given the credentials to be able to log into this interface, right? I don't know if you remember, if we bounce back to the lab instructions, we're looking at username home admin and password home password. So home admin, home password. Did I type that right? I did. Let's log in. No, you don't need to save that password. Thank you, Firefox. I appreciate you. Let me know if Dream drops out again. This is kind of rough, but we're powering through. So Home Assistant will bring us to this interface, and we'll be able to see that we are logged in as home admin. If we wanted to look into a little bit more of that kind of user profile we could, but take a look at all the other things that might be available to you when you're using the Home Assistant software. Um, Logbook, another thing for activity. You could see when things happened or history as you were exploring through. But the overview is really all that we needed to be, because we've got a couple devices here that we can interact with. We have the kitchen thermostat, also known as the kitchen thermostat, and that will allow us to change the thermostat on the kitchen thermostat. We also have the kitchen light. Sorry, I'm having a little bit too much fun. And we could just interact and click around on the settings or mode that these are in, whether it's on or off, etc. Right? So if we were to do this, we could actually operate or interact with it from the command line using tools like Mosquito clients. Now, that's the package that we would install to be able to use these other commands or programs, Mosquito pub and Mosquito sub, to publish or subscribe to different MQTT messages. These can be used to send or receive. So let's get into our terminal, which is where we are, right? But if we were to use the Mosquito sub command, I don't have that installed right now, because inside of the lab virtual machine, that one will exist because it's going to be installed and pre-configured for you. I know that I am bringing my own box to use the VPN just because I like to, and you might just as well. So we would want to install Mosquito clients, and let's see if the internet breaks as I try to pull down those packages. Or if I even can. How about that? While that's installing, let's keep reading. In the left terminal pane, we'll use the Mosquito sub command. And what that lets us do is specify the host, like TAC-H for the argument we'd provide, and then the smart home IP address, and then TAC-T to specify a topic. We could just use an arbitrary thing that we want to work with, like my topic, and that way we could kind of basically have almost like a netcat connectivity, where we have a netcat listener, so to speak, and then a receiver to be able to get information back and forth. So I do want to grab the smart home IP address one more time, and then let me get back to our terminal. Okay, cool. We do have that installed now. So I could use Mosquito sub with TAC-H. Oh, I want to clear out that. Mosquito sub, TAC-H to specify the IP address, and then TAC-T to be subscribed to messages going to any topic we specify, like my topic. Once I hit enter, nothing really happens because there are no messages there. So we need to have it publish a message. And we can use just another equivalent tool like Mosquito pub to be able to do that. The guide discusses this just as well. In another terminal pane, you can run the Mosquito pub command with TAC-H again, TAC-T for the topic, and then a message that you want to send. So let me grab that IP address, copy paste, and then there are no tricks up my sleeve here. This is literally the dumb, easy, make a netcat connection, basically, right? Just sending a lot of the messages when we use TAC-M to specify a message that says, hello world. And once I hit enter, communication, fingers crossed, comes through at the top. Hello world. I just published or sent to that receiver, right? While that terminal has subscribed to it, this has sent to it, but this is all happening kind of in the background as we were operating or interacting with these IoT devices. All the things that we could see in our home assistant. So I use Control-C to break out of the Mosquito sub listener. Home Assistant devices allow IoT devices to publish their configuration to an MQT topic in order to set them up. The exact topic name will vary depending on the type of device. However, this configuration can be viewed by subscribing to the wildcard topic. Just like we learned about earlier, that hashtag or Octothorpe, it can just tell you everything if you don't supply any other / like group dividers, right? So if we were to subscribe to it, let me get back to our terminal. Let's go in our Mosquito sub command. But rather than specifying a non-existent topic, we could see what those topics are with the hashtag # Octothorpe. I'll hit enter on that, and then fingers crossed we could get this to come through. Internet bearing with us. Cool. It dumps like a JSON blob. Can you get the notes for free? Yeah, of course. Absolutely. Justhacking.com. This is name your price. This is totally free. Now, because I am subscribed with the Mosquito sub command here, this is going to like hang. It's going to look like the program didn't end because it's still listening. It's still waiting or subscribed to get more messages. But now we can see we have the kitchen light, and there are some commands and topics there like kitchen light set, or things on our thermostat, kitchen thermostat, the temperature set, etc. Right? We could also use TAC V to print out the topic name along with the message that's being sent. Ooh, we should do that. We do want to make sure we have TAC V for verbose. Running this command should print out the configuration data for each device, and then again, Control-C to exit. But honestly, I kind of want to listen to it all. Configuration data is a JSON blob describing what other topics. And if you wanted to see anything from the kitchen light device, just like they were telling us about the wildcard characters with a plus sign there, that could just dump all of it. So let's switch over to the Home Assistant dashboard and then use the graphical front end to toggle the light switch on and off. So if we had an IoT device like a kitchen light, if I could spell things correctly, I would be able to see that with that wildcard, right? I'm subscribed to it. Let me bring that to the top, make it a little bit bigger. And now let me move what would be our overview Home Assistant here that says connection lost, reconnecting. Super cool. And once I click the button to be able to turn the light on or off, we can see if I hover over that, turn the kitchen light off or on. Let me click this. Let's go on. And we see the message on. Oh, I forgot my TAC V. I want our TAC V for verbose, right? Because then we'll be able to see, once I toggle this off, it'll tell me kitchen light set was off and the kitchen light state also off. Easy, dumb. You guys get the idea, right? The gist of this is cool, small, simple. I can keep doing this back and forth. Obviously, it'll set a setting, and then the state will be reflected like sort of a call and response. Obviously, we see the state being shown and published for other devices that just want to know, is it on, rather than I want to turn it on or off or vice versa. Yeah? Yeah. Yeah. All right. As hackers do, let's see if we can do this without an application, like without using that front end, that web interface, that GUI. Try turning the kitchen light on and off by running the following commands in the pub pane. Well, this is easy. We just use Mosquito pub rather than Mosquito sub to work with that MQTT protocol. Yeah? Same IP address, still the same thing we're communicating to, and we just use kitchen light set with now a message on or off. So while I do this, what I would love for you to do is keep an eye on the very left-hand side where you'll see the toggle of whether or not the light is on or off. Let me hop back to the pub terminal that I was using where I had the commands. Oh, was that sub? That was sub. And let's go back to that. Let's use the topic for kitchen, light, and then we want to set a message. Right now it's off, so we could turn it on, correct? On. Fingers crossed. Hopefully. It did it. And it did it! It did it! Did you see it? Did you see it change? Right over on the GUI? Yeah. Easiest, tiniest, smallest, super sweet little baby thing, right? But a cool little workshop to be able to hack around with some old little Internet of Things devices with the bare bone basics working with that protocol. So let me now get back to our lab where it tells us, hey, if you want to do a little bit more, we could play with the thermostat. That was this big little dial that you saw earlier. Can't wait to mess with my neighbor's smart lights. Absolutely. Happy to hear it. So, look, we know, I don't know if you remember when we were taking a look at this earlier, we could see the kitchen thermostat and then the thermostat temperature. So, could I now use Mosquito Pub, change the topic to be in the kitchen, thermostat, and the temperature? You remember from the JSON config blob that we saw earlier. And actually, let's listen to that. Let's use sub and the terminal just above us. And then let's use pub down at the bottom. I feel like, does anyone go to Publix, restaurant, or sorry, the grocery store? I say restaurant. Pub subs are like the sub sandwiches that you can get at Publix, or at least that's the nickname. And I cannot get that out of my head. But we are not going to set the temperature to the word on. We're going to set that to some degrees. But I do want to be able to see that communication. So let me just listen to everything again with that wild card. Hashtag # Optothorpe. While we're listening, and it should dump kind of just about all of the names that it sees. But now if I set the temperature to what is it? I don't know, 65? Is that fair? Can I hit enter on this, as you could see or watch the thermostat on the left-hand side? We're going to tell it, hey, set your temperature to 65. There it is. And then you can see even the current temperature trying to move and adjust to get to what I just set the thermostat to. You saw the set command fly by, and now the current temperature is just going to follow to that. Yeah? Heck yeah. Is the tool custom? Which tool do you mean, if I may ask? We're using a couple different things. We have Home Assistant over on the left-hand side within our web browser to see and have an interface to a lot of our smart Internet of Things devices. And then the Mosquito Pub or Mosquito sub commands that came from a package mosquito_clients, or it might be dash clients in the Kali repos. But yeah. So cool. Now, I like having the wildcard listen to everything. If just because we get to then learn and discover what the other sort of topics are, and then what we might be able to send or look at other messages, even as we just click around and explore, because we basically done the demo of, oh, wow, hey, let me set the temperature to 55 or whatever. And then it'll do it. It will send that along. But what are the other things that this interface lets us do? And can we recreate that programmatically? You know what I mean? Once this gets to 55 degrees for our hacking thermostat, kitchen thermostat in the kitchen. Take a look. If I set this on auto mode, oh, okay. Now we can see and learn there are others there that maybe we just didn't catch from looking at all the messages in the JSON blob. Even just interacting here still lets us kind of learn and see, oh, wow, we get to see they set the state to cool or hot or heat and all that, right? But then you get to see all those communications back and forth. Mosquito clients. Yes. Mosquito clients is the package. Sorry, I don't know if I misspoke. Forgive me. Pub and sub are the commands included and underneath. Yep. But here's the thing. That's all covered here in little upskill challenge X, UCX. Now, what we had done when we were live and in person was, hey, let some folks use this in a little bit of a preview mode. So we don't need to fall down the rabbit hole on that, but we did suggest to folks, hey, try to shut things down. Try to let some folks be able to play with the next version, the next individual, the next person that comes and hangs out with us. So you would be able to go shut those virtual machines down and get back to things. So we'll go do that over here in the system settings. But now we got to do all of that with our VPN and within this little walkthrough, and you can kind of get a little taste of what these things kind of look like. And obviously this was super small. This was super tiny, but maybe even that is just some exposure to tech that you haven't seen before. Like, how often do you get to hack your thermostat or your lights or anything in that regard. And even if it's small, simple commands, just like this, mosquito pub, mosquito sub, then you still get an understanding of what the heck that protocol is and what it means and all that. So I like that a lot. Um, I know I've been wrestling with the internet for a long while here, and I know that I would love for us to be able to showcase the other upskill challenge X. Now that we got virtual machines for you all to play with, but if you wanted to go dive into the other one, can I please just set the stage for you on that? Because look at how many upskill challenges we have, for one thing, which is ginormous. I think this has been like the biggest pile of purple teaming. Azure security, by the way, that's from Carlos Polup, the same individual that built Hacktrix and all these other sweet, LinPeas and WinPeas utilities. Phenomenal friend, and I super appreciate him helping us get together a little bit more some of the cloud material like Azure, GCP, AWS, etc. Space, Google dorking, satellite hacking, Sysmon, phishing, shellcode. This is the fun stuff. I really am happy with a lot of these. But hacking your router is the fun one for Upskill Challenge X. Is this stuff you could do with IoT devices on your network? A little bit. So I saw some chatter in the chat saying, you know what, hey, if you were to kind of listen with some MDNS shenanigans, I think you could track it down. So it's certainly worth a little bit more learning on that front. And I hope that's at the very least still a springboard for you to be able to go explore and play with these things. But let me show you Router Rutrow, because I think this one has more fun to it. You get a little bit more tactical, you get a little bit more nerdy, and I really, really enjoy what you could do with Router Rutrow. Again, these are pay what you can. This is pay what you want. This is name your price. So if you're like, you know what? I like John. I love John. I think he's the best. I'm going to give him buku bucks. You can do that. I'm grateful. Or $0. Make that free. Let you in the door. We can click and roll with just no price tag on it. And seriously, genuinely though, this helps with the cloud instances. And this is a whole team for incredible people that are putting this stuff together. Big shout out to Matt E, again, another friend who has joined us in the visible. Router Rutrow though lets you get into router firmware. We actually had an open WRT machine that you could spin up, you could play with. You can go log into it after you uncover what is a backdoor. It has been compromised is the theme and scenario for that upskill challenge, because with that, you're able to actually go track down what did they do to backdoor this instance. I don't want to drag you through all of it because I know I'm running out of steam for the live stream, and I'm also running out of bandwidth. But we'll give you the firmware for you to crack open. You do a little bit of scalpel, you do a little bit of foremost. Realistically, you do a lot of bin walk. But then you could track down the tampered code and go find what did the bad actors actually manipulate here. You do a little bit of DD to extract the file system out of it, and then you can go see what exactly did they manipulate to add a web shell or like a backdoor into the router, which is just cool, which is just neat. So I hope that's fun for you all. I hope that is something that you could dig into and then be able to see a lot of the behind the scenes code for the interface to the router. I hope you go check it out. There are links that are flying around all over in the comments and the chat and everything. So thank you for all your support on this front. And I'm just grateful that you all were willing to listen to me and tolerate my stupid, crappy internet. I think that is without a doubt really a struggle with Livestream. So I hope I can experiment and get some shenanigans up with OBS, the Open Broadcaster Studio, the next time we get to do this, because when I get to be hands-on keyboard, I would like it to, behave. But please do come see us at B-Side Chicago. Please do come see us at B-Sides New York City, at what else we got going on? Blue Team Con. We'd love to hang out with you. And hey, Hope you can dive into the DEF CON 20 discount code. Hope you check out the incident response course. Hope you're excited about the security operations center course. Hope you're excited about API hacking. I'm just ecstatic that we've got so much cool stuff coming your way. And thank you for all your grace and support while I keep doing the silly YouTube videos and everything else that I'm up to. So I think that's it. I think that's the end of the stream. Thanks, everybody. I'm gonna tune out. I would love to do some Q&A, but you know what? We can see you out on the internet. We can see you in Discord. We can see you in all the other sweet, fun stuff. Because I've been talking for a long time, and I don't trust the internet airwaves anymore. They've backstabbed me today. So I'm gonna get out of here. Hey, let me roll the Just Hacking training clip one last time, and then we'll get ourselves out of here. Thank you, everybody. Until next time. Learn cybersecurity and focus technical training with justhacking.com, where all-star instructors and industry experts provide hands-on, affordable, and practical learning. Across courses, free upskill challenges, hack-along training videos, and capture the flag competitions, there's always something to hack. With new content twice a month, all throughout the year, plus bi-monthly live streams, you can sharpen your skills in our on-demand and interactive lab environments. Advance your career and level up, regardless of your experience or budget. Forget all the noise and get to Just Hacking. Sign up now at justhacking.com.